So Marvel is in complete chaos. This is pretty much something that we've known to be true since Phase 4 began. And Phase 5 is in its little realm right now. And even with Phase 5 happening right now, we can clearly see that Marvel is just being completely destroyed by its own ideology. It is really sad to see the state of Marvel and where it's at. But apparently, Avengers Kang Dynasty scriptwriter Jeff Loveness apparently is no longer working for Marvel. Like that's a thing. And the crazy thing is, this is the person who was going to kind of take Kang the Conqueror to the next level within the entire MCU. But apparently the reason why he's not working there is because they're likely going to be moving away from Kang the Conqueror for obvious reasons. The whole debacle with Jonathan Majors has really thrown a wrench in their plan. And again, you guys need to remember something before we get into the video. You need to remember, this is Disney, right? This is Disney at the end of the day. This is Disney Marvel. They cannot actively fire a black man, okay? They can't do it. They can't do it without either solid evidence, and even with solid evidence, they pretty much are not going to do it. They might shuffle him off or write him off or whatever the case may be, or say they're going in another direction and kind of make him into a lesser character. Whatever the case may be, they have virtue signaled for identity politics so hard that they cannot then fire a black man publicly in one of the biggest roles in MCU since Thanos. It's just not going to happen, okay? I don't see it happening. Could I be wrong? Sure, absolutely. And if I'm wrong, I'll gladly admit it, but I just don't see it happening, okay? This is not like Johnny Depp, for example, a white man who just got absolutely destroyed by the entire Hollywood elite before anything even came out that he was obviously telling the truth or found innocent. They didn't really care about that. But with Jonathan Majors, no. He's black. They can't do that. So we have an article here from Bounding Into Comics, and I read the headline already, so let's get into this article, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Look at this picture. Holy shit. And like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. It says, while the studio has spent months maintaining radio silence on just how they plan to move forward with their plans for their multiverse saga following Jonathan Majors' arrest for domestic assault, sources close to Marvel Studios have purportedly confirmed that they are likely going to be moving away from Kang the Conqueror as the Marvel Cinematic Universe's next big bad. They might just say screw Kang the Conqueror and just go straight to like Galactus or something like that. They most likely are going to do that because they just can't do this anymore. Like Jonathan Majors unfortunately has completely destroyed the image of Kang the Conqueror. So you're going to have a lot of people online who are going to be looking for his cancellation, and it's just not coming because again, he's black. They're not going to do it. So they're going to silently let him kind of fiddle away over time. It says his insight into the MCU's future was first detailed by the Ringer's Joanna Robinson, perhaps best known to the public as one of the superfan authors of the recently published retrospective book MCU: The Reign of Marvel Studios during the November 11th episode of the outlet House of R podcast. Following a nearly 3-hour deep dive into the events of Loki's second season finale, Robinson and her co-host Mallory Rubin eventually broached the topic of the God of Mischief's new ability as granted to him by his promotion to Overseer of the Multiverse to manipulate any event through space and time. Speculating that this power can be used to erase Kang from existence entirely should Marvel actually decide to drop Majors from their ever-growing roster of silver screen superhumans, Robinson then revealed a bit of information that suggests this outcome is more than likely. Finally addressing the Major-shaped elephant in the room, Robinson recalled to her co-host, I actually heard from someone recently, so the screenwriter Jeff Loveness, who wrote Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, was supposed to write Kang Dynasty. I had it confirmed to me that he is no longer working for Marvel. Now, the fact that he is supposedly not working for Marvel anymore, obviously that is huge news, okay? It hasn't been confirmed, so take it with a grain of salt, obviously, with any of this information. But it would be very huge and very telling if he was no longer working for Marvel. Now, it does seem like with the way that Loki ended in season 2, I didn't watch it, so I didn't know that this was even happening, but apparently they're pretty much kind of going this way, where they're going to have the ability to remove Kang from the entire MCU if they need to. They have that way out. They've given themselves that ability, and it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me because, you know what? Jonathan Majors, as much as I would love to just roast him, obviously, and just have a grand old time with it, at the end of the day, it's a woman who made an accusation. This is nothing new. We see this all the time. 95% of the time, they end up being false. So you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt until it goes through its legal process. But it seems like Marvel is going to take its time by slowly weeding out Kang the Conqueror or Jonathan Majors as Kang. They're going to slowly weed him out. We've been hearing this for a while now, a rumor that's been around for quite some time. So the the longer a rumor tends to stand, the more I believe it. The only one that I haven't believed that has been around forever is obviously Kathleen Kennedy being fired. That rumor has been around since the dawn of time, okay? That rumor predates Jennifer Lawrence, if you get what I'm saying. But still, it's been around for a long time, and I don't believe it. But this particular rumor, I do actually believe. I think they are going to silently, slowly get away from Kang the Conqueror and go straight to Galactus or something along those lines, because they can't deal with the negative press of having Jonathan Majors as Kang anymore. It says, I asked the person why. She further explained to Mallory, and they said the reason why is that he was all wrapped up in his Kang storyline, and they are likely going to be moving away from that. Attempting to head off speculation, Robinson closed off her scoop by affirming, so no official announcement that Avengers Kang Dynasty will not be called Doom's Dystopia or whatever. We don't know exactly what they're going to do, to be clear, but I think that just gives them the perfect opportunity to just be done with the major situation if they actually want to be. Notably, Robinson is not the first individual with sources close to Marvel to suggest that Loveness is no longer writing the Avengers Next Ensemble adventure. During the May 18th episode of his and film critic John Roach's The Hot Mic podcast, veteran entertainment reporter Jeff Snyder asserted, this is unconfirmed. My source is saying Jeff Loveness is off of the Kang Dynasty and that he fell off before the strike. When asked what this meant, Snyder responded, Jeff Loveness, deserved or not, got a lot of criticism for his scripts. And yes, it sounds like they're going to go in another direction from what my sources are saying. And then further, in August of 2023, noted scoopers My Time to Shine and Casey Walsh both informed their respective audiences that not only had Marvel taken the former Jimmy Kimmel, Live, and Ricky Morton writer off of Kang Dynasty, that they also had likewise removed Loki and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness writer Michael Waldron from his duties on Avengers Secret Wars. So listen, guys, as I've said prior, okay, and I'm going to keep saying it, Marvel is in an absolute mess. It is insane what is going on with Marvel. They have no idea what they're doing, okay? It's very clear that they have no idea what they're doing and that they're all over the place. If you want any kind of example of exactly what I'm talking about, just look at what's happening with Blade, all right? Blade has been in development hell for literally years, okay? Blade has been in development hell for a long, long time. And when they first announced Blade, I said right from the beginning they were going to mess it up. I already knew that they were going to completely mess up Blade. And over time, we have seen prime examples that they have no freaking idea what they're doing with this character. So if they don't know what they're doing with Blade, what makes you think they have any idea what they're doing with the overarching story of the MCU going forward? Like with Endgame, it was such an easy story, straight to the point, and they mastered it for the most part. Now that they had to kind of think of themselves and think of something that's going to be more interesting than Thanos, they're struggling. They're struggling hard. It's kind of like Game of Thrones season 8 when they didn't have much source material to work off anymore. They kind of just completely tanked after that, right? So it's the same thing with this movie. It's the same thing with the MCU now. MCU as a whole is just completely in the shitter, and nobody should be shocked whatsoever that this is happening. So let's see what happens over time with Jonathan Majors as Kang. I just don't think they're going to continue with him anymore. They're going to lesser his role more and more as time goes on until eventually he's completely phased out, and they're just going to pretend like it never happened. That's really what it is. They're gonna let it go off in the wind, never say a damn thing about it, and just pretend like none of this even happened. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.